Welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. You're listening to Geek Out. What's your cup of tea? Tickles your fancy or floats your boat? Join us as we share passions from people in Taiwan and around the world. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, and today in the studio we have back Leslie Liao.
Hello, hello.
And Tomasz Koper.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. Well, if you guys have listened to the previous episode, you know that it's a fun time in the studio when these two are here.
It's about to get funner.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Is funner a word?
It's going to be with all this AI stuff going around. Oh, did I just give away what we're talking about today?
Uh-oh.
So we are geeking out about just wacky stuff that we've seen in media, especially AI.
Yes.
Because that's thrown a whole monkey wrench in the works.
Absolutely.
Well, like I said just before we hit record, like we're going to go extinct, but we're going to be laughing on our way out.
Yeah, because the AI knows to soften us up with memes before they take over.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the rise of the internet, we're going to take this way back to before Leslie was even born, I bet.
Let's go.
Gather around, children.
Gather around, children. Hello,
really?
fellow kids. But we see the rise of the internet. Initially, it was created as a information sharing, platform, right? Mm. And then we very quickly turned it into cat videos.
Cat videos, memes, ridiculous images, joke sharing platforms.
I guess the first thing like that in this category were copy pastas, right? So like just blocks of text that people would share.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, copy paste. Well, those still are going strong. I mean, like, obviously now we have cat videos enhanced. You can put Arnold Schwarzenegger's face on a cat. Or Tina Turner.
Should you?
Yeah.
Oh, you definitely should. If you've seen the videos I've seen, bring him on, because you type in Arnold Schwarzenegger AI into a YouTube search bar, and let me tell you something, entertainment for days.
For days
Easily.
And days.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's just such a memeable person.
He really is.
Recently, though, AI has come to become kind of worrisome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really, really impressive, and also worrisome at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. In many things. I mean, I think the first thing that Tomasz, you actually covered it in an episode.
Yes. The first episode of the show that I'm working on, that I'm producing, called Connected with Divya Gopalan, that we ever put out, was on AI art.
Right.
And there is this American artist who submitted generated images that he got from AI to a art contest and won. And that made headlines because a lot of people thought, like, well, it's technically not his work, it's AI.
It's very polarizing.
However, this issue goes a bit deeper than that, because it's not like he just typed in the first thing that came to mind and then got an image and submitted that, because we've all played around with those things and we've all tried them, and like, let's say most of the generations don't really look very good and they are not worth much.
So you have to tweak and change your prompts.
So he actually spent like 2 weeks iterating on the prompts that he was using, sort of training the AI to get the final result that he submitted to the art competition. And in my opinion, that counts as artistic.
That is work.
Definitely. It's like, you choose your medium, right? Some people use watercolors, pastels. You could even use like rebarb wire, but to use AI in that way, to get it to a kind of form that you want it to,
is a skill.
That's talent. A skill. And you obviously have a vision and a creative capacity in mind when you do something like that. And to exercise that, no matter what, even if it's through AI, I think it's perfectly valid.
I totally agree. It's just going to become another tool in the artist's toolbox.
Yeah.
So I don't think AI spells the end of an artist or the end of creative work. It's not that. Like, we'll find a way to use it and just do better things and more things.
However, there is controversy surrounding AI art, in that AI takes a lot of sample from around the internet, and then a lot of artists' own styles are sampled by that AI,
right? And
then in turn used for generative content.
Okay, well, but it's the same way the brain works. Like, your brain is a neural network, and this is the argument that was made during the show that I was talking about earlier. Your brain is a neural network that takes those images in, processes them, puts them through that neural network and spits out output, which is your own artistic creations, right?
Fair.
So this is just a tool that kind of replaces that process or enhances it, however way you look at it.
Right.
It's not much different than how your brain, big air quotes, steals art generated or created by other people.
Right. And you can, if you're not an artist per se, then you can, or you're a musician, then you can also kind of think about it that way.
Yeah.
As a person who's learning how to play and create music, you listen to a lot of other musical artists, and then a lot of it's mimicry. You learn how to play like them in order to gain skill and talent, right?
Yeah.
So, and then eventually when you've developed your own style, that's just bits and pieces of a lot of other people.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've all picked up a guitar and played like the first 4 notes of Nothing Else Matters. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think there's something to be said. It just feels like over maybe this past year, how prevalent AI generated content has become. And I think that's the most striking part of it. And you see what it's capable of. And this overexposure of just how impressive this AI generative content can be is worrisome to you, because you're just like, if it can improve that fast over the course of a year, imagine where we're going to be
in 10
5
years, right.
10 years down the road.
Well, sure, but I think it's kind of like, I don't know, Photoshop, right? Yeah, Photoshop can do a lot of amazing things, but in unskilled hands, it's still pretty obvious, pretty clunky. It's not great. Yeah, I
don't think anybody's really worried about unskilled Photoshoppers, though. It's the skilled ones that are the that may be problematic.
That's always been the case, right? The skilled Photoshoppers can make you think one document says one thing when it originally said something else.
Correct.
It's the same thing with AI, right? We were all laughing about an Arnold Schwarzenegger clip in which he was superimposed over a Whitney Houston song, and it was almost indistinguishable.
Leslie has been obsessed with that clip
It is
for
wonderful.
like a couple of weeks.
Oh,
It's Whitney Houston's "I Want to Dance with Somebody," and
Arnold Schwarzenegger is singing it.
It's amazing.
Which we are officially choosing as the song that will follow this show that you're
Absolutely.
listening
It's
to
coming up.
right now.
Listen.
Oh, it's good. You will love it.
I mean, we have to play you the original, but just imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger is singing slightly
You don't
off-key.
have to imagine it.
No.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
You
it's-
can go on YouTube and listen to it right now. I mean, not right now, after the show.
It's so convincing that it's not even like today's Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's
Him in his
OG,
prime.
It's OG Arnold Schwarzenegger as Whitney Houston singing the song.
It might be Arnold Schwarzenegger from the period when the song came out.
Oh no.
This is like Kindergarten Cop Arnold Schwarzenegger, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a good
It's around
show.
that.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Predator Arnold? Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean,
But after a certain while, we're gonna be able to put in a prompt and be like, give me a sequel to Conan the Barbarian, and you're gonna be able to see
A 2-hour movie.
a 2-hour movie of of a sequel that might not be refined, but
it might not even be like interesting. So, okay, so here is the other argument that I keep making. Like, is AI really just a mirror that's held up to us? Right? Like, if we as a society are ever okay with just typing in a prompt and getting a generic script to a generic movie, like, yeah, give me Conan 3, because there is already a sequel to Conan.
Oh, is there?
The Barbarian. Yeah.
Oh,
Conan the Destroyer.
yeah.
Oh, really?
And then Red Sonja, but it's not really Conan. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a different character. Anyway.
Anyway.
So we're not here to geek out about Arnold Schwarzenegger, although I could.
Your Arnold knowledge is showing, man.
I am a huge fan. I have mad respect for the guy. So if we are ever collectively as a society okay with that kind of bland sort of like generated content, as in like, yeah, I'll give you the most like generic storyline to a sequel that you requested,
Yeah, I can do it.
then that's kind of on us, right?
Yeah. It's in the sense that like anybody can write a script
Yeah.
to the next Conan. It's just, is it going to be any good?
No.
Right.
I mean, like 99% chance no.
99% chance no. So, I think there's something to be said, but I can't help but admit the content coming out of this generative AI wave is pretty entertaining, man.
It's
Yep,
entertaining. It's so entertaining. And as Tomasz said, it's like, if we're going down, we're going to go down having a great time.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be laughing all the way to Extinction Avenue.
So I have a friend. I'm sure she doesn't care if I share this. We just send jokes to her. And one day I opened up our chat and she sent me a nude
Of
herself.
Oh,
What?
Right? Exactly. I was like, excuse me. I was taken aback because
Yeah.
we're not that level of friend.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well,
I'm
it takes
looking.
a certain level. It's
Yeah.
like,
So I'm looking at
I
this.
mean, we've been great friends with Leslie.
I've not seen.
And I've only seen 2 of his nudes.
I've not seen Tomasz in the buff yet.
So I'm looking at this nude. I'm like, it's so convincing, except she has 6 fingers.
AI can do 5 fingers now.
I know, right?
Wait, but why would she AI herself like that and send it to you? How is that a joke?
Well, okay, first of all, banging nude.
Okay.
So really, really hot. It was a joke. I guess it was just something that she thought it'd be fun in the instant. But it was a quick prompt, hence it having 6 fingers, and then
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I've heard it can do 5 fingers now. All 3 of us working in media, have we seen it applied to?
So I'm a producer on TV right now, and I get the feeling that I do see it every now and again in some of the content that I kind of go through when I'm selecting stuff for the show. I don't know if it's just me becoming jaded or maybe it is just that the quality of like scripts, the copy that is put before my eyes
Is ChatGPT
is changing. Yeah, some of the ChatGPT stuff you can tell. Like it will be written well, it will be written properly, but it will be bland and boring and just.
Yeah, my brother, he's a English professor, and he says it's easy to pick out essays that are written by an AI.
Well, I also spoke to a lot of educators about how they feel about AI, and most of them are not really that worried about AI because if you're a good attentive teacher, you will know that suddenly your C students started submitting like A grade material that is like perfectly written and well structured, and like it's obviously.
You're obviously cheating.
Yeah, cheating. Yeah. So if you're paying attention, if you're not asleep at the wheel as an educator, you should be able to tell right away.
I mean, and look, I wasn't as an educator as our listeners know, and yes, it is a situation where the kid who obviously doesn't study turns in perfectly grammatically structured sentences.
Yeah.
I'm sure you plugged something in the Google Translator and then it did what it did. But I also am not that against it because at least you're doing that and then you're transcribing what you've learned off the internet onto paper, which is learning in itself.
Yeah.
Do you two use AI at work in what you do?
No, it's very frowned upon.
Well, besides translation apps to, kind of make sense of garbled Chinese.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Is that AI? Is Google Translate AI?
Well, Google Translate is getting better, but like ChatGPT is actually pretty decent at doing translation, and this is the extent of my use of AI at work. ChatGPT or just AI, large language models, they still struggle with, especially proper nouns, right? Chunggong University, which is something that appeared in copy once, which is a university here in Taipei that people just called Chunggong University. It was translated as Success University.
That's what I call it. That's what I call it, even without ChatGPT.
Because Chunggong literally means
success,
but no one translates it as such.
Yeah.
They should. That's a great selling point.
It is a powerful name.
There was one instance of AI use in our office, which I find perfectly okay, because our office is mostly English-speaking staff, but here in Taiwan, a lot of the people don't speak English as their first language. So we had an assistant, and whenever she had to correspond with people in English, she was very self-conscious about her English ability. So she would ask ChatGPT to kind of like fix up what she said, like in an email or like to messages to coworkers.
So
and
proofreading.
Kind of.
I would ChatGPT for me is becoming almost like an educator for a lot of people. Sort of, the best use that I have seen for ChatGPT is asking it like, well, hey, in this context, in this register, how should I ask person A about X, right?
Yeah, and in that regard, I think it's can be used for good.
Yes. Totally.
I've also seen ChatGPT used for recipes.
Oh. What?
What? I was on YouTube and then I saw someone
that.
just put in like, give me a macaroni and cheese recipe that's 3 Michelin star, and the person actually made it. And it looked really delicious, but I'm not gonna lie. The final,
but then like final step, add 6 fingers.
No, but it also used like 16 different types of cheese, which is an excessive amount of cheese for a macaroni and cheese.
I mean, there you go. Like large language models are not supposed to be knowledge models.
Yeah,
they're supposed to
Right.
spit out things that look like natural speech, but are not supposed to be factual.
Whereas a 4-cheese mac and cheese, you're like, all right, that's pushing the limits of how cheesy. I'm lactose intolerant, man. So, you put 16 different types of cheese. You're
will
just asking for.
destroy you.
Yeah.
Leslie is flying to the moon.
Flying to the moon on the
Self-propulsion.
self-propulsion. Right? That's exactly what's happening.
Man. But I mean, I've always thought that the one industry that robots and AI cannot replace is essentially cuisine, like fine cuisine. Of course, processed food, if you're just making something simple like junk, then that can mostly be made by robots, factories not employing people anymore. But I don't think humans are ever not going to seek out really delicious cuisine.
Well, that's fair. And AI has yet to develop a sense of taste, right? Knock on
Cannot
wood.
taste.
Yeah,
Cannot taste.
but this is something that can be quantified, I feel. Well, you have scientific cuisine already, right? People who are like
Molecular
gastronomy.
I almost said nuclear cuisine. Which is a completely different thing.
We were talking about nuclear reactors before this show, just for context.
So molecular cuisine is, cooking quantified. It's broken down into like processes and ingredients, and it can be made very precise. And computers are good at very precisely controlling like tiny changes in conditions and environments.
So if it learns those patterns, then
Exactly,
you're saying that they could produce.
Someone will have to train it.
There might be a 4th Michelin star. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is that like AI still requires someone to tell it that it's going the right way. So the way language models are trained is like someone has to check the output and say like, well, yeah, this is correct, this is incorrect. And that's how AI iterates. So unless someone teaches AI to taste or teaches AI what makes a good mac and cheese, AI will not know for its own because, like you said, it can taste.
So what are our views, though? Because as of yet, we do not have a true artificial intelligence.
So true artificial intelligence, or strong general purpose AI, is as it always has been. It's both 5 years away and 50 years away.
That's like fusion energy, man.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on who you ask. Some people say that we'll never get there. Some people say that we're, it's coming. It's just around the corner. I really don't know where the truth lies on
personally,
that.
whenever that, I hope I'm not alive because it terrifies me. How many movies have we seen?
Terminator,
The Matrix.
What else?
Lots. iRobot, a whole bunch of them.
iRobot, AI, literally. So the Creator is one that's coming out soon.
That is one possible scenario, although a movie which might be more scientifically grounded and more sort of realistic about how AI or general purpose AI just kind of works together with humans or just ignores humans and like, okay, thank you for creating me, see ya, would sell a lot less.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't watch movies to be realistic, Tomasz.
No, exactly. That's why we like the AI apocalypse. That's why we go to the movies to watch Skynet and not. Do you remember that movie Her? Which was another movie about AI. It was made by Spike Jonze, Joaquin Phoenix, and Scarlett Johansson.
That's right.
The voice of Scarlett Johansson as the AI. So I just realized that I have to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it to make my point.
Spoiler alert.
But it's not let me just say this. It's not a movie about AI apocalypse. It's not a movie about Skynet taking over, the world and killing all humans. And it's still a fascinating movie about one possible scenario that might play out of the relationship between humans and AI. But as far as I know, it wasn't that financially successful, that movie, because we still like our Skynet.
It's not a summer blockbuster.
We like to be spooked. We like to be scared.
We like to watch explosions on big screens, right?
Exactly.
So.
They made 6 Terminators and they squeezed out a 4th Matrix movie, right? Just to give you an idea of the human fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Although
the human
Keanu
fascination.
Reeves doesn't age, so he might be a robot himself.
I have been suspecting that for a while.
I've been suspecting that for a while.
I mean, that man stays the same.
I have bad news for you, Tomasz. The AI-generated Arnold Schwarzeneggers we've seen, that's just him.
I would actually be, if I were an actor, I would kind of be scared for my livelihood. Because that's, I think, the first creative profession to go. And voice actors will go first. Because voice is increasingly easy to synthesize. So you might leave a sample of your voice, even, you know, based on this show, someone can sample our voices and basically, please don't do it, by the way.
Please don't do it. We need our voices.
Do not
I
give
just
our
realized
permission to sample our voices.
So someone could potentially create models of our voices and
Yeah.
then make us say whatever they want.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole thing behind the SAG-AFTRA strike going on right
Yes.
now. The writer's strike and the Screen Actor Guild strike is just because producers in Hollywood are talking about using AI to create scripts, to create movies, and that's freaking all these actors and writers out. So they're just saying, no, we don't want that. That's why they're striking right now.
And again, I totally agree with them. I am with them, and I would want nothing more than them sticking it to the studios. But at the same time, I think that yes, AI will flood us with mediocre content.
Yeah.
But a good script, a good voice actor, and I'm not saying those who don't make the cut aren't good. Yes, the market will shrink. But there will always be this human need for like an emotional script, an emotional delivery by a real human actor, I think.
As a parting note, how are we all feel? Are we hopeful though?
I am. I still am. Yeah, and I think the more I read about it, the more I am hopeful, because we've been through these kind of turbulences. We've been through revolutions. Granted, this revolution is happening on a much shorter time scale than previous ones.
True.
Industrial revolution took decades. You know, agrarian revolution before that took centuries.
Right.
Right now we're seeing years or months. But I still think that the spirit of human creativity will still be somewhere in there. We'll just have to learn to work with AI rather than against it.
Yeah, I don't think the human spark is replaceable.
No, unless the AI learns to love.
I don't know. You really can't call these things, right? Because a few years ago we were talking to, like, not even a few years ago, but like before, there were a bunch of people talking about how crypto and NFT is the future, and they're just
that was always not true.
That was always not true, right? But the thing is,
we're three skeptics.
But look how confidently those people talked about it, and then they're turning up snake eyes right now. Who are we to say that AI is or isn't the future? Or
No, we can only speculate, of course, and then, you know, no one who's in a position to make any kind of really important decisions should make them based on what we're saying.
Yeah, absolutely not. We are
disclaimer: do not base your policy
show
decisions
is for entertainment
on this show.
purposes only.
This show is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
For now, I think we will very much enjoy the Arnold Schwarzenegger videos. Absolutely go find that, you guys. Thanks so much for geeking out with me again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Always a pleasure.
And thanks, listeners, for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang, and I'll be back next Thursday with another episode of Geek Out.